Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Isabel, and for today's healing session, we will be addressing whatever can come up around intimacy, closeness, being close to another, and then also like in the context of sexuality and having that exchange with another. So we will be addressing things that come in the way, like interfere with or prevent us from experiencing that more fully. And while that is always a practice too, let's just see how we can support that here. Because while we're here, right, while we're incarnate, we're all also sexual beings, and many of us just desire a deeper way of relating, desire more soulful connections, deeper connections. Yeah, so let's get into that. This will be an instructive healing session. So I'm basically speaking things out loud while also, addressing things silently, working energetically. We're instructing our systems. Just know that whatever is not for you, you're not going to do anything with. And what we release is always dependent on what we're ready to release at any given point. So that being said, you might want to lay down. Of course, you can sit up right too if you want to, whatever you so choose. Laying down might be more comfortable just because it's more relaxing. But yeah, just get settled. Pause the video if you need to. And whenever you're ready, just, close your eyes. And start going within. So I would like to start off by just taking a couple of minutes to get into our bodies more. So just start following your breath into your body. And feel into your body. Feel into your legs. Feel into your feet. Into your chest. Your back. And just notice like if there's any sensations anywhere, any tightness. And breathe into them. And relaxing more fully on the out breath. Maybe tightness in the jaw that holds a lot of tension, oftentimes. Or the neck, lower back. And then I'm going to invite you to just take one hand and place that on your lower belly, like below your navel. And start breathing into that area, connecting with that area more deeply. And every out breath, relaxing more deeply. And if there's any thoughts coming up, that's okay. Just bring your awareness back there, following your breath there. And I'm going to be silent for a moment. So just keep doing that. Just keep breathing into the lower belly. Okay, and we want to bring in the energy of safety. The energy of trust. And we're starting off by just clearing any discomfort around intimacy and around closeness. Any feelings of discomfort. And particularly around revealing oneself to another. And a fear of surrendering oneself. And also fear of losing control. And a fear of being seen more fully. Let's clear on that too. We want to resolve any imprints of past rejection as much as we can right now. Times that we felt rejected, and also the fear thereof. Okay, and also with that, feelings of unworthiness. And the sense of not measuring up somehow. Let's throw that in as well. Any ways that we feel that we don't measure up. And the pressure that that brings up. Okay, we're also clearing on times when what we offered was not received or wasn't valued. And all the meanings attached to that, all that we've made that mean. And then the fear of being close to another, the fear of sharing space with another, fear of being intimate with another. Any ways that that feels unsafe. And there's almost like a sense of threat in there. So let's release that as well. And then here also we want to address boundaries. So a lack of healthy boundaries. Let's work on that. Any overriding of boundaries, crossing boundaries. Feeling invaded. Let's address that. That can happen in obvious ways, and sometimes it's very apparent, but then also sometimes it's just so subtle we almost don't notice it. And then let's release any feelings of feeling manipulated. Any ways that we feel manipulated, any ways that we do that. And particularly when it comes to through like manipulation through sexual energy. All the ways that that plays out. Any misuse of sexual energy. Let's bring in more awareness around that. And we also want to clear on any forms of projections, like when ex-partners or maybe current partners projected something onto us, and then also vice versa, all the unresolved burden that we projected onto them. In ways that we still do that. Then we'll do just a general, very broad cleansing of residue when it comes to past energy exchange, like that exchange, particularly exchange of sexual energy. Because that happens on so many levels that goes way beyond just the physical. That could just be a topic on its own. We also want to dissolve any forms of objectification, like being objectified, feeling that way, but also doing that to another. The feelings of disrespect and dishonor that go along with that. And then, yeah, let's do, again, a more general, broader cleansing when it comes to any forms of sexual stress, sexual shame. Times that we felt shamed for any form of sexual expression, for having desires. Yeah, we'll stay on that a little bit longer. Just also addressing a little something silently here. Yeah, just things that have trigger potential, so I don't want to speak them out loud. Yeah, in any ways that relates to losing that original sense of innocence or innocence. Okay, and then we also want to clear on religious programming and also religious oppression. Yeah, and there's a lot of heaviness that comes with that. And also any guilt coming up along with that. Well, that again is a bigger subject, but let's just clear on as much as we can right now. And then also clear on any demonization of sexuality and demonization of pleasure. Any ways that we make that wrong. Ways that we deny ourselves pleasure. So let's bring in just the energy of allowance here. Allowance for receiving pleasure. And for having desires. An allowance for expressing ourselves more fully in relationships. And receiving the other more fully as well. And also allowing ourselves to receive the gifts that come along with more sacred ways of relating and more sacred ways of energy exchange. Being able to receive that, allowing ourselves to receive that. Let's bring that in. Being able to receive the gifts of coming into union. Yeah, within oneself, but then also with another. Yeah. Okay, so let's just let that integrate for a few minutes. Okay, and then just take a deep breath. And when you're ready, if you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. Or you might also want to leave them closed, whatever feels right to you. Yeah, as always, you can come back to this, take it deeper, address different layers. And then there's also so much that we haven't gotten to. There's so much to this subject, and even that we did get to, yeah, it was just, it's just scratching the surface, if you will. I mean, just that subject of, religious programming, oppression, guilt, shame. There's so much that goes into that topic of shame. And then Yeah, also like that topic of boundaries, right? Like what does that even mean? Because a lot of times we're not even aware of it. Yes, that can be very apparent and in your face, but it can also be so subtle, like just giving advice to somebody when they're not asking for input. Like that's a violation of boundaries, or just desiring, wanting something for someone, not considering what they want, and just imposing that onto them just by thought. That's crossing boundaries. And yeah, and then also that whole topic of like cleansing like old energy, residue energy of past exchange that we've had, because many of us have had, relationships where we're not conscious of that. And then there's so much that goes on beyond the physical. It's not just exchange of fluids and DNA. It's like on the mental plane, on the emotional plane, like all that we bring to the table is transmitted and transferred, and vice versa. Right. And then we don't clean up, and then we bring that into the next relationship and the other person as well. And all the entanglements that get formed there, the cords that get formed there, the attachments. Yeah. All of that. So I actually might do a follow-up on this. On that note, if anything came up for you, whether that is something that we did address and you want to expand on, or it's something that we haven't gotten to, what comes up, then please feel free to share that. And I know it might be uncomfortable because it is a delicate subject, right? But in the end, it does help all of us, So yeah, feel free to bring that in. Also, anything else that might come up around the whole topic, any impulses that you have. Yeah, and then there's so much that we, can do when it comes to all of this. Yeah, there's so much practice to all of this for all of us, right? And yeah, on the topic of energy exchange and having that communication on more than just a physical level. I mean, on the flip side of that, there's also a lot of beauty in that, and a lot of potential and potential gifts that come with that when we communicate on all those levels, and when we come into union on all those levels, where it's beyond the satisfaction. John Wineland, he has that expression of taking each other to God. Yeah, that, right? Like, let's bring that in. And then practices, no matter if we're in relationships or not, all of us that are single right now, right? I mean, we can also just do embodiment practices, meditative practices, breathing exercises, anything that connects us more with our bodies, with our sensuality, with our desires. And yeah, any kind of inner work, of course, anything that's addressing whatever doesn't feel good. And then also becoming just more aware of our energies. I mean, we talk a lot about feminine and masculine energies and embodying both of those, but how does that play out for us? How do we use those energies? Be more aware of that dance that happens within, but then also with another. And yeah, also like sexual energy, like how we use that, ways to transmute it, maybe, if that's something that's of interest to you. I mean, there's so many people that teach on that. And yeah, and then also the ways, just getting to know ourselves, the ways that we relate, the ways that we perceive, the ways that we give and receive love, because that's so different for all of us, right? And if we're not aware of it, then it can feel like we're on different radio stations, really. And then simple practices that we can do with a friend, that we trust, of course, but it doesn't even have to be, it can be like talking more openly about these subjects, but it can also just be, revealing more of ourselves and being more transparent, being more open, and being the invitation for them to do the same as well. and yeah, receiving them more fully, listening more deeply. And just a simple practice, and yet not always easy, like gazing into each other's eyes. You know, like like they say that the eyes are the windows to the soul, right? There's so much depth in that. And yeah, just so much reveal in that. And that doesn't always just feel good, right? So can I hold that connection despite of the discomfort? Can I be aware of everything that brings up in me and yet remain open as much as possible at any given point, because that's always going to be different in each moment. Okay. Yeah, there's so much more on this, but let's just end it here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for digging into this with me. And yeah, again, feel free to share anything that comes up for you, whether that's after listening to this, whenever that will be, or, you know, days later sometimes, or weeks later, topics come up. All right. So I am sending you lots of love. Take care. Bye.